Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Lycan Studios. As you can tell, we actually added 6 more names to the Patreon list. You guys are absolutely insane. I really did not think that 11 of you would already be Patreons. It's absolutely amazing, and I really appreciate it. So joining the Alpha Pack today, we have Luz, Levi, Jen, and it's either Leela or Lila. Sorry about that. But anyways, thank you guys so much. That's absolutely amazing. I will definitely be sending you guys messages on Patreon, so definitely check that out. I'm finally off for a couple days, so expect a message pretty soon. So next up, joining the pack today, we have another Wolf tier. We have Carl. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it. And last but definitely not least, we have our first Lycan of the pack. Congratulations, Dante Williams. You're actually going to be getting the first ever Lycan postcard sent straight to your door. So definitely, all of you guys be checking your Patreon messages pretty soon. Dante, I'll have to ask you for your shipping address, and we'll hook you up. I do want to apologize to all of you guys that the video is actually going up a little late. I know I've been uploading all of these at like 2, but I got home from work last night, had a super long day, ended up staying over a little bit, and then I went into work super early this morning. So I really didn't get to sleep very long, so I'm kind of just like running on fumes right now, but we gonna grind it out. So episode 6 actually has 2 separate parts. So instead of reviewing 5, we're going to go ahead and jump into this script, and then in the next video, we'll talk about the rest of it. Before we get into the script, you guys know what time it is. Today's shout out winner is Virginia. Thank you so much. You've always been liking and commenting, and of course you're subscribed. You've been watching pretty much since the beginning, and I just want to say I really appreciate it. You are awesome. And lastly, I just want to remind you guys to smash that thumbs up button. I know a lot of you forget. That's okay. But anyways, we're shooting for 200 this episode, so definitely smash the thumbs up button. If you continue to do that in every single video and comment and all that good stuff, you will definitely find yourself in the shout out in a future video. I promise. Episode 6. The Northern ground forces are trying to recover from the battle. Mostly everyone is dead, the city is in ruins, and Danny and her and John's baby is dead. Danny and her child's body will be moved somewhere, and the remaining forces will come to pay respect to her. No idea where this will be. Except, likely the remaining Dothraki will set up a pyre, similar to how Drogo was cremated. Sansa will start to rally the troops and tell everyone that they need to press on quickly and help Jon, as he is still off fighting for them. The Northern army will mount up and follow after the remaining Lannister army, with Sansa leading the force. I can't see Sansa really leading a force, but you never know. Jon is still flying after Euron. Euron is trying to fly as fast as he can, but Drogon is a more powerful dragon and is slowly gaining on him. They make their way over top of a large lake, the God's Eye. A rider and/or raven, or possibly the remaining Lannister forces, will arrive at Harrenhal. The rider, or Qyburn, will then march up the ruined halls to the throne room of Harrenhal. We will see them inform someone off-screen that the Lannister forces and the mountain have been defeated, but the remaining northern force is too small to breach the Harrenhal defenses. The camera will reveal who Qyburn is talking to. It is Cersei. She is still alive. What do you guys think about that? The version of her that was burned was actually her handmaiden in her clothes and hairstyle. A smile will creep across her face. I knew I would get you guys. I knew it. See, little brother, I told you that we would come out victorious in this one. The camera will pan out, and we will see that Tyrion is by her side. Tyrion will indicate that what was done was necessary to do to protect his niece or nephew. Cersei will hold her stomach and indicate that if it's a boy, she would like to name it Jaime. Tyrion will smile, but then remind her that Drogon still needs to be stopped, but that Dany is still not to be harmed. Cersei will look unconcerned about the last comment. They will look out at the God's Eye and see Rhaegal and Drogon circling overhead. Tyrion will notice that it's not Dany riding Drogon, it's actually Jon. He will suggest that she is probably too pregnant and that it is too risky for her to be riding or fighting at this moment. He obviously doesn't know what happened to her. At this point, Cersei will mention that only makes things easier and will command her archers and ballistas to fire at Jon and Drogon. A messenger will arrive in Cersei's throne room and inform her that the Northern army is almost the gates. The Northern army is almost at the gates, I think he means. She will then tell them to take out the army as well, but be sure to leave Dany, as she will be the bride or gift that she will bestow upon Tyrion for help her crushing her enemies. It was the arrangement they made after all, which that could tie back into the scene that Talking Thrones was talking about. If you're not sure, definitely type in like Talking Thrones Tyrion Dill or something like that. I'm sure it'll pop right up. The messenger will agree, but will point out that Dany isn't with the ground forces, that she actually died from her injuries during the attack on King's Landing, that Sansa is commanding the army, and then Cersei will smile and make some comment about how far dear sweet Sansa has come. She will command her forces to prepare the remaining wildfire they retrieved before they left King's Landing and drop it on their enemies below. Qyburn will rush away to prepare the attack, and Tyrion will agree to go with him to help. Meanwhile, Jon and Euron continue to fight. Circling up and down above the clouds, their dragons each breathing fire at each other and attacking each other. Very much a dance of dragons. Jon, never one to fear death, will command Drogon/Bran to finish this once and for all. Drogon will smash into Rhaegal and the two will become entwined. Drogon will bite and shred at Rhaegal. Euron will be laughing maniacally. Jon will leap from Drogo and will shove his sword Dawn through the eye and skull of Euron. In the books, he only has one eye left. Both dragons and their riders will descend quickly towards the God's Eye. Everyone in attendance will hold their breath. They will smash into the water, the impact waking Bran from his warging state of Drogon. The water will splash and settle and quickly turn red with blood. Everyone will keep their eyes fixed on the lake. Slowly from the water, we see a dragon emerge. It's Drogon. He is injured and limping. He will screech and fly away. The northern forces will feel inspired to keep their siege efforts going. A lone red priestess will walk over to the lake and look out over it, possibly a wildling girl. In the books, this might be Val. Cersei will be overlooking the scene and say something like, "No matter, the last dragon will soon die from its injuries. The advantage is still ours. Time to put an end to this war." Tyrion will enter the room. Cersei will ask if everything is ready. Tyrion will indicate that yes, Qyburn and I have supplied all the wildfire. The catapults are ready. They will begin firing in moments. Cersei will be very pleased, and Tyrion will look out at the northern army. He will look at the lake full of blood, and his eyes will begin to well with tears. His gaze will pass over the water where Jon's body is, to the Hound, Brienne, Arya, and finally Sansa. Tyrion will walk over and pour some wine for himself and Cersei. He will offer the cup to Cersei. Cersei will hold her stomach in a moment of concern, but then say something like, "I suppose I've earned one glass of Dornish Red." She and Tyrion will stare out the tower at the scene below. The camera will pan back behind them, then we see Qyburn, his body on the ground, dead and bloodied. Tyrion will ask her if she remembers all the times they've spent together, all the good times and the bad. She will give out a snort of laughter. Tyrion will ask her if she remembers Shae, if she remembers what he promised her then. Cersei will look confused. Tyrion will mention that he promised to repay her debt years ago, and she should never forget that a Lannister always pays his debts. Cersei will look confused at first, possibly retorting with a witty insult, but then she will cough. Her coughing will persist, and she will begin to choke, her hands grasping at her throat. You guys know what's going down. "What have you done?" she'll say. Her face will start to turn purple, very similar to Joffrey's death. Tyrion will stand over top of her as she slowly falls to the ground. He will pour his glass of wine on the ground with a look of anguish and disdain on his face. Cersei thought the witch's prophecy was broken and stopped fearing Tyrion when she was pregnant with her fourth baby, but she never delivered the baby and was killed by the Valonqar, or the younger brother. So then he has another edit. It says, based on the numerous fire references, Cersei's eyes green like wildfire, 4 scenes in the show with wine and flame between them, Tywin clutching flame as he dies, and based on Tyrion's threat, turn to ash in your mouth, I think it's very possible that Tyrion actually makes Cersei drink wildfire. Tyrion will march through Harrenhal, the Lannister forces all looking at him. He will command them to stop fighting. He will tell them that he is the sole heir to Casterly Rock now and order them to open the gates, that the war is over and that they should yield. We cut to a shot of Drogon flying, staggered, bleeding, and injured through the clouds. Drogon sets down at the funeral pyre near King's Landing where Dany and Rhaegar's body are waiting. Jorah and Melisandre are also there. Mel may make a line of, "See, the dragon has returned, just as I saw in the flames." Drogon will come close to her and she will command Jorah to remember what she told him to do. Jorah will nod and will start backing away. At this point, Melisandre will ignite the pyre and lead Drogon into it as well. The fire will grow bigger and bigger. Drogon will howl in pain and the flames will erupt, mixing with dragon fire. Jorah will shield his eyes and be forced to back away even more to avoid the extreme heat. Slowly from the inferno, Dany will emerge calm and naked. Baby Rhaegar alive and well in her arms. Dany will look down at her baby and smile, and then she will walk over towards Jorah, who will provide a blanket for both of them. What are you guys thinking right now? Like, I totally played that off just to surprise the hell out of you guys. Like, this was really well thought out, and now you understand why. Like, this is the whole reason I wanted to upload this theory. Like, it's crazy. This will be Dany's fire of love. This scene will be similar to the Birth of Dragon scene when Mel taking Miri's place and Drogon taking Silver's. Blood, fire, or magic requires a life for a life, so Melisandre and Drogon will be consumed by the flame to keep Dany and her baby alive. This will be the 3rd attempt at forging a child/dragon/sword. So baby Rhaegar will be the reforging of the Lightbringer, as he was the result of bonding Azor Ahai, Dany's soul, with the one she loves, Nissa, aka Jon and Drogon. Episode 6, Part 2. Flash forward, time, more months, maybe a year, passes, everyone is rebuilding. King's Landing and the Wall are being rebuilt. Sansa has been declared the Queen of Westeros. Not sure if she will be sitting on the Iron Throne or will be at Winterfell. Brienne is the Lord Commander of the Queen's Guard now. She will fill out Jaime's page in the Lord Commander book with a smile on her face, proud of everything that he did. Not sure if the Hound will be one of the Queen's Guard, but likely. At the very least, he will be Sansa's new executioner. If Podrick lived, he may also be a knight or part of the Queen's Guard. Davos is now hand to the Queen. Arya appears to be Lady of Winterfell. Gendry will likely be legitimized and is now Lord of Storm's End. He will also be very smitten with Arya. They may even make reference to the two of them being engaged. Yara will be Lady of Pike. The final war trial will then happen. Most characters will be in attendance for this. Sansa will be sitting over the trial, and Bran will be by her side. Tyrion will come out in shackles. Tyrion will be told of the crimes he is accused of, primarily treason. Tyrion will explain that he has been tormented and cursed ever since he committed his first true crime. When he became a kinslayer and killed his own father, he will explain that everything he did was to redeem himself to his family, and that protecting his future niece or nephew was the only way he could do it. He will also profess that he was in love with Dany and wanted to marry her as well. He will explain that he also cared immensely for Jon, and nothing could make him feel worse than he already feels. Bran will chime in, "Actually, Tywin wasn't your father." At first, Tyrion will be very confused, but slightly relieved. That means that he isn't a kinslayer. He isn't the monster he always thought he was. Then Bran will reveal that his father was actually Aerys Targaryen. Tyrion will seem confused as he digests this information. He will begin to break down. That means that he actually betrayed and believes he was responsible for the death of his half-nephew Jon and his half-sister Dany and their child. He actually betrayed half his family in the name of protecting the other half of his family. Tyrion will be overwhelmed with grief. He will ask them to end his miserable and cursed life. Sansa, and most in attendance, will be disgusted with Tyrion and his actions, but she will offer him one last chance at redemption. The scene fades, and we see more scenes of Arya and Gendry hitting it off, but then somebody will mention to her that a messenger has arrived and needs to speak to her in private. Once alone, the person will remove their face and reveal themselves to be Jaqen. You guys didn't think he was coming back either, and I knew it! Jaqen will mention that a girl has finished all the names on Arya Stark's list. They will ask if she would prefer to live as Arya Stark, a Lady of Winterfell, or if she would prefer to be no one at all. Arya will look back at Gendry, then back at Jaqen. We won't find out what choice she makes. I don't know about that. We gotta know. Sam will return to the Citadel with Gilly and will make some comment to the other maesters about how it will take him a long time to record all of these events down. Some cheesy line about calling it a Song of Ice and Fire or a Game of Thrones. He may become Grand Maester and reside in King's Landing, Winterfell, Castle Black, but I think just documenting at the Citadel seems the most likely. We see Tyrion atop the wall. He has chosen to take the Black. His final shot will be staring off of the wall into the lands beyond. He will finally be able to brood as well as Jon, filled with anguish and inner conflict. If Tormund is alive, he may be shown as the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. That is awesome. Could you actually imagine a wildling being the commander of the Night's Watch? We follow Tyrion's gaze into the woods, somewhere far north of the wall. We see a cabin nestled in the woods. Inside we see the woman from before, the one that was overlooking the God's Eye. She is talking to a person in the cabin. He looks weathered and beaten, and he looks over at her with a confused look on his face. It's Jon, and he wants to know who she is, and even who he is. He asks if his name is Aegon. She laughs and tells him that he knows nothing. His name is Jon Snow. In the books, she may not be a Red Priestess, she may be Val, or even just another wildling. Either way, he might be referred to as the King Beyond the Wall. We may see a shot of the God's Eye to show that Dawn is in the bottom of the lake, still embedded in the skeleton of Euron perhaps. Dawn was the magical sword of a guy named Arthur after all. It only makes sense that it ends up in a lake. Then, in the God's Wood of Winterfell, the children of the Forest come to meet Bran. They thank him for everything that he has done, but they point out that the Night King wasn't purely evil. He was actually trying to protect them from the Great Other. Bran will nod and say that he remembers. This is crazy. As they talk, we see Jorah. He is in Dorne and is standing outside a house with a lemon tree and a red door. Dany emerges from the door, a smile on her face, her hair is dyed black. She will walk forward and give him a hug and maybe even a kiss. Her son Rhaegar is alive and well, but since Jon and possibly Dany died and were brought back to life using fire or blood magic, something isn't quite right with the child. The camera fixes to the child and we see that there is something off about his eyes. The camera zooms in and we see that Rhaegar's eyes are of a similar design and pattern as the Night King's, but instead of glowing blue, the eyes are slightly glowing red. After all, he isn't the Night King, he is the Lightbringer. The children of the Forest tell us and Bran that the child is going to usher in a long summer filled with fire and blood, that he must be stopped. They will tell Bran that they need his help to stop the Great Other. Bran agrees and the show ends. Now, what do you guys think about that? That is absolutely intense. Like, this guy, I'm telling you, he really thought everything out. Like, some stuff may be quite a bit off, but the ending, like, you can't deny. That was incredible. Like, absolutely insane. That is 100% why I wanted to give you guys this theory. I've kind of been fighting through all the comments and stuff. Everybody's saying, like, this is bullcrap. You should have never posted this. But this ending, like, it blows my mind. Like, it absolutely blows my mind. Definitely let me know what you guys think. We're going to talk about it all in the next video. We'll see you guys later. This has been Lycan Studios. Peace.